What's up guys, it's Bucky. Welcome to your 44th Java tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be going over something called enumerations or enum. We learned about them before, I think. We might not have. If we didn't, no big deal. We're about to learn it today. But the first thing that we're going to do, well, let me tell you what enumerations are. They're pretty much kind of like classes, but you're going to use them to declare constants, at least in this tutorial we are. So let's go ahead, and anytime you want to do this, instead of public class tuna, you put public enum, E-N-U-M, and now you can use this in a specific way. So like I said, the first thing we're going to want to do is declare a bunch of constants of the enum type. So let's go ahead and make some constants, or these are pretty much going to be like variables that never change. So I'm going to make like 3 names, Bucky, and these are in essence objects. So let me give these a few parameters and then you'll see why later on. Bucky, let's give the first parameter a description word of the object, and I'm going to put nice, since I'm doing this tutorial, might as well say something good about myself. And then let's just go ahead and put a string about like how old they are or something. I'll make it interesting for the other 2 ones. Now let's think of a next person. Let's think of we'll do constants of my first girlfriends. So my first one was Kelsey, and she was a cutie. It was 5th grade. She was pretty cute. And let's see, when I went out with her I was 10 years old. And now I'll put a comma because we're not done with our entire enumeration list. And then the next girl I went out with was, well, it wasn't really a girlfriend, but we had a thing. It was Julia. She was a big mistake, and I was 12 years old when I went out with her. So now we're done. We got 3 constants. Let's go ahead and end this statement with a semicolon. Now what we're going to do, since we just made objects, and again each constant is an object, and it's going to have its own set of variables in this entire enumeration. So let's go ahead and give it 2 variables that we're going to use later. Private final, since we don't want them to change, string, since that's what we just made, since we're in quotation marks, and we'll put DSC for description, and we'll copy this entire thing, copy, paste, and we have description right here, and what's a good name for this? Year or something. Year. So now we have 3 objects, which are actually enumerations, we call them, or constants, and they each have a set of their own variables, 1 for description, 1 for year. So now what can we do? What do we usually want to do when we create these? Well, the first thing that we're going to want to do is create an enumeration constructor. So let's go ahead and do that by, of course, typing the name of your class, and then you probably want to put your 2 variables in. Put string, description, and make sure, since this is we're gonna use this, make sure this is different than this, and you should know why. And then just put string, and let's put birthday or something. It isn't their birthday, but I don't want to get confused at all. I can't put YR or something because it would just confuse me, I'm easily confused. Got something to say about it? Didn't think so. So now let's put DSC, or whatever you declare it up here. Just put it equal to description statement, and then go ahead and put birthday year equal birthday. And now what do we got? Anytime, here's what's going to happen with Bucky. It's going to say, alright, with the object Bucky, give it 2 variables, a description and a year. For the description, pass in nice. In this 22, we're going to see is birthday, so set year equal to birthday. So now we can work with DSC and year. Good enough? But now that we have a constructor, we just pretty much set these variables equal to where they need to be. We have no way of getting the variables yet. So let's go ahead and create 2 methods that we can get the variables. So public string, since it's going to return a string, and put get description, or get des if you're lazy, which I am, so hey, it works out. And then in this one we want to return the DESC, That's just going to return a string of the description. Easy enough. And guess what we're going to do in this method? Public string get, I'll put get year. Seems like a good name. And this one is just going to return year. The only problem with this, it's a little too easy. So now, this is all we need to do with enumerations. Again, enumerations are constants that are also objects, pretty much. And so, we needed two variables to represent the two arguments. And then once we have those two variables, we can build a constructor. And then this constructor allows us pretty much to set these variables equal to each other and return the information we wanted. So let's go ahead and, well, let's just go ahead and use that information right now. So what we want to do pretty much in our main class right here with our main method is build an enhanced for loop. So let's go do that right here. For, and the first parameter you need is of course the class name and the variable that you want to use in your for loop. Like we used like description right here. This is just a variable that we just made up. This is going to be the variable that we just made up right here. And that's the first, like, it's pretty much what you want to call your objects when you loop through them. The next argument is you need an array that you need to loop through. And let me tell you a little bit about this because this might be kind of confusing. Anytime you make an enumeration like this, Java automatically takes this constant, these constants, and makes a built-in array. And the array is called whatever your enumeration is called, and since I named mine tuna, it's called tuna. And when you write values like that, this is a built-in array of the constants right here. So if we're saying, alright, I need an array, bam, you got an array right there. And again, you can't change this keyword values. This values is called a static method, and again, this is how you get a built-in array. So this is going to loop through each of the constants. First it's going to loop through Bucky, then Kelsey, then Julia, and it's going to assign them to people. Well, you'll see what it does. So now we just need to make a print statement. So let's go ahead and put system. And why do we need to make a print statement? So we can actually see what's going on. System out printf. And let's just go ahead and make our two arguments. The format is going to be %s, and let's put a tab, add some spacing, %s, add a tab, %s, and a new line. So it's going to write our name, our description, our age, and then it's going to go to the next person. So now we need our arguments. The first thing we want is people, because that's what the object is pretty much. So in the first one, it is just going to loop through our name, which is this, Bucky. In our next argument, what we need is to take that people object and use the method get, wait, what did I name that method? People.getDescription. And what that is going to do is it's going to return a, let me find my screen recorder, see how much time I'm at. I got a minute 30. What it's going to do is return a string of our description, and this last one, people.getYear. And what this is going to do is, first of all, I need a get. It messed it up for me. People.getYear. And what this is going to do is return a string of the year. So let's go ahead and make sure I have a semicolon at the end of that. And 1 second. And make sure I have this. And let's go ahead and run it. So run this. Okay. And look at my results. I got the object, the description, and the year. Object, description, year. Object, description, year. So what it did, again, see if I can get it, was it looped through the entire array of people, and for the first argument it gave us the object name, the description name, and the year, whatever year I assigned to them. So in the next tutorial we're going to be going over this some more, but thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next tutorial.